Cinema.
Welcome back to War with Cinema. I'm your host, Greg, your local metalhead, and with me is...
Par the Collector. What's up, everybody?
And we have our special guest. Once a year, he's making his comeback again, and it is Mick Sawyer. Welcome back, Mick.
Tom Sawyer's fucking cooler older brother. What's going on, buddy? We love having you on,
I
man.
didn't tell you that Mark Twain is a part of my family tree.
So this time, usually I ask you what you want to do on the podcast, but this time I gave you a suggestion because I'm currently doing a lesser-known movies from popular directors. And I was like, this was a movie you introduced to me, so I thought it would be a perfect time to talk about it. And it's Cape Fear by Martin Scorsese.
Yes. Well, because I know what we originally talked about, and we made so many mentions on it in previous episodes. I was like, I was telling Nick this briefly yesterday. I was like, man, I feel like that's predictable. Like people would see that.
True romance.
Yeah. And
it's an
love
easy
true
pick.
romance, but people would see it coming. What people don't know. Like I act like everybody in the world wants to know what I'm doing and what I'm into. But anyway, like Cape Fear to me is just as important as a film to me as True Romance or any of my favorites.
Well, you said something to me. You said it is your favorite Martin Scorsese movie.
Yes, which I know is very unusual, but
Yeah.
you know by now
one.
I have a lot of very unusual choices.
You are the only person I have ever met that has said that they know that he directs Goodfellas too.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Now, if they didn't know that he directed
I know.
Goodfellas.
I've had like people be like, "Really, Cape Fear, Goodfellas?" I'm like, yeah, Cape Fear. Just like with a straight face.
Yeah.
Like if it was the last copies of both of these movies and one was going to go into the furnace forever. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
You guys would hate my guts. I'd be like,
that would be so upsetting. Like, I would never
I
be
love
able
you,
to.
Goodfellas. I'm sorry.
Wow. Well, I mean, that's a bold statement. And I mean, I'm happy you stand by it. But,
Thank you.
Well, I want to give you the floor. Like, so tell us why you love Cape Fear so much.
Yeah, man.
God. Okay. So, number one, it was really outside of the box for Martin Scorsese.
Very much is.
Yeah, I was talking to you about that earlier.
Yeah.
And Robert De Niro. Like,
Yes.
and the reason
I don't feel Robert De Niro so much because he did Taxi Driver, he did Raging Bull. He like kind of got in the pocket of this.
Okay, I wanted to say this at some point. I'll just say it now.
Yeah.
Yes, he could go there, but he didn't get in this bag very often.
No, he didn't.
Yes,
And
that's what I
he
was gonna
hadn't
say.
gotten in this bag in a while.
That's true.
When
Yeah.
he made this movie.
There was probably
That's-
like a 20-year difference.
At least 15. man.
Yeah, because I was gonna say this movie was one of the last movies where De Niro really like
Went for it,
method.
yeah.
Like, and it was like
I was going to say this in like About a Boy.
Yeah.
Or A Boy's Life, sorry.
Yeah, because it's like I always thought, to me, I was like, God, see, this is why Al Pacino ended up winning for me later on down the road, because Pacino yeah, like Pacino would take these eccentric roles in these little out of it, like later on in his career too, he would play roles that were out of his comfort zone. And it made me so mad because De Niro is absolutely capable of doing the same thing. But De Niro, I felt like, just kind of relied on what you're all expecting to see out of De Niro after all these years.
I mean, to be fair, you could say the same thing about Al Pacino. Once he like got to his, eccentric Al Pacino, it was kind of the same thing.
Oh yeah, no, that's true. But the only difference is Pacino always made it a point to do those roles. Like he never stopped. De Niro just kind of stopped.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that's unfortunate, because it's like,
I guess it depends on what you want. Like you want eccentric Al Pacino.
I do. Him playing Phil Spector, I mean, come on. It's like with all those different wigs that he wore in the movie, it's amazing. Like, and he played, what's the guy's name? The doctor, they called him Dr. Death. Oh my God. Why am I?
Jack Kevorkian.
Yeah, Jack Kevorkian. And he played him in that, and he was hilarious in that. Like, but anyway, so, it's Max Cady. It's probably my favorite De Niro role. Like, because also Max Cady had an influence on the Ringo character to a certain extent. When I was, when we were doing Rock Bottom Creek, he was like one of my little collections of character studies.
I can see that, yeah.
You know, like, and man, and then the other thing that I love about the movie is Nick Nolte. It's Nick Nolte.
Yeah.
You know,
it frustrates the shit out of me.
You know, oh God,
he is like one of the original badasses in my mind.
Yep,
and to watch him
100%.
play such a puss the first hour and a half of this fucking movie, dude, it gets on my fucking nerves.
I know,
it's
so
bro.
crazy. Like, but that's also a testament of how great of an actor he is because
It's
he's
like
playing,
fucking Gyllenhaal and damn the one we watched with Amy Adams.
Nocturnal Animals.
Nocturnal Animals.
Just
yeah,
like
yeah.
that, like I hate it. I was like, bro, I've watched Gyllenhaal kick
Just
ass.
kind of like conservative to himself.
Yeah.
Like very,
He's
very,
playing a character.
very low key.
Right. No, I get it, but like you're playing it too well. Like I believe you. I believe
Like, I
you.
know that guy. But yeah, like, but you know, Nick Nolte is as Sam Bowden, like, and I know that Martin Scorsese originally wanted Harrison Ford. I don't care. Like, I love Harrison Ford, all due respect, but this might be another unpopular thing to say. I love Nick Nolte more than Harrison Ford.
I can attest to that. Nick Nolte all day.
That's fucking
Yeah,
Indiana
absolutely.
Jones. Y'all crazy. That's fucking
Han Solo.
I knew Nick would disagree with that.
Yeah.
I knew it. but
Have you seen
I love
Warrior?
Nick Nolte. Don't get me wrong. I love Nick Nolte,
have
bro.
you seen 48 Hours?
I love 48 Hours and another 48 Hours, bro. I love
they're
Nick
amazing.
Nolte. Conspiracy Theory. I love Nick Nolte,
I
but
have to say Warrior is my favorite.
more than
He was
Harrison Ford.
amazing.
The way he like took it there, like he was a real alcoholic.
I think that role would go in like top 5 Nick Nolte roles of all time.
Agreed.
It was so devastating.
that scene in the casino, and then when he goes up to the apartment
Yeah.
or whatever it's called,
Are you trying
the
to get me
hotel.
choked up on the show?
right?
that scene is
Heartbreaking. Yeah.
oh my God, dude. Yeah. Like Nick Nolte is one of the greatest of all time, like easily. And then also Jessica Lange. You don't hear me talk about her as much as I feel like as I should.
Yeah.
I've always been a fan of Jessica Lange. I always
Years
thought she
of
was
not being
an
kind to
amazing
her.
actress. Like,
But I felt like she was not great in this.
I think that scene when they're on the boat
Yeah.
and she's offering herself to Max Cady as a sacrifice, that, like, I hate using this word because it sounds pretentious, but it moved me.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like,
Any parent would, you
she
know?
was willing to like protect her daughter and offer herself up, and everything that she said to try to convince Max Cady, it blew me away. It's little things, little moments like that with actors or actresses where I'll be like, wow, that's fucking incredible. Like,
Yeah. I have to say, like the second half of the movie, I felt like she did a really good job, like when they're on the boat, like you said.
Yeah.
But it's when she was like in the house, like doing her graphic design or whatever. I just felt like she was so phoning it in for the first half of the movie. But, you know, she's probably just playing a conservative character.
You know what I think it is? I think it's just like, to me, I was like, I don't know, I kind of met women like that where they're just really just, you know, they're not, I don't know, they're not lively. And I think she does that in a very convincing way where
It's just shows she's like bored with the marriage kind of thing.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Stepford wife type deal.
That's why I thought it was like really convincing. And then like
That makes sense.
and then
He's a big
the other
shot
thing
lawyer.
is too,
They make money.
I hate skipping, but we were talking about the boat scene, and I always laugh at the scene between him and Juliette Lewis, like when he was like, I memorized that book for you. He's like, did you? You know, and like just how condescending De Niro is in that part. And like, what, God, like, we'll get to that, but like, he's so good. Like, it's my favorite De Niro role. It's always going to be my favorite De Niro role. Like, it's just like, he says so many like great things in that movie.
There's since we're talking about characters or actors and stuff, I'm not the biggest Juliette Lewis fan. I don't know why.
I'm not either. She
She's
just so
good in
happens
this.
to be in a lot of movies I really like.
Right.
You know, but I'm just
not a bit. I think she's fine as an actress, but it's just there's something about her that just doesn't connect with me.
No, same here. Like it's interesting that you said that because it's something that I've always thought.
Yeah.
I've just never said it out loud.
Oh,
Like,
really?
Yeah, like I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, she's not bad, you know.
Right.
I mean, she could be a lot worse. She could be Kristen Stewart, you know.
Yeah, at least she's trying.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
I love Bring It On.
She
What are you talking
is.
about? Bring it on?
Oh, Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah.
That's what I used to
Getting
talk about.
Kristen's mixed up.
Yeah, that's Twilight Girl, right?
That's
Yeah,
twice, Nick.
Yeah, I don't like
That's
her.
twice. Like
I do love Bring It On too, though, so
Yeah, it's a good.
there's
movie.
no knock for that.
Gabrielle
Oh, yeah,
Union
it's already
smoking
been
hot in
brought-
that movie.
Seen it 3 times in theaters.
I saw it once in the theater.
We were probably together on one of those.
Probably. More than likely.
Thought about joining the squad.
It's kind of like,
Let me stop.
you know, but like none of you know that none of us know that like, you know, we're going there to see the movie or whatever. And we don't want people to think that like we're just I was here with somebody.
No. So
Check
back,
out Dane wanted to see it.
I've been wanting to check it out. So when Bring It On came out in theaters, there was nothing else that really looked interesting. That's
Yeah.
why me and my friends went to see Bring It On, because there was nothing else that really. But we just wanted to go to the movies, you
I
know.
remember it was me and my ex-brother-in-law and 2 other friends. And I remember thinking, why are we seeing these? It's just like that was like
Because I went with our metalhead friends.
Yeah.
We all got into a group and we all went to fucking see Bring It On for some reason. It didn't make any sense at
That's
all.
why I
didn't-
found my
that's
love for
pretty
Elijah
similar to
Dushku.
my
Yeah, right.
experience, and then I asked, and it was kind of like the typical like hormonal, you know, answer like, "Well, there's hot girls in it," and I remember thinking, "It's because there's hot girls in it.
They're
The movie's
bringing
gonna be
it.
fucking good.
They're
You know?
bringing it.
Like,
They're bringing it all over the fucking place, dude.
and then I forgot. I'm like, oh wait. You know, when we were younger, you know, we had to make sure that we had material, you know, like that we could bring home with us in our minds.
Yeah. We didn't have it at our fingertips
It's a
like they
great
do now.
story, man. They stole those poor girls'
Why
routine
the fuck are we talking about Bring It On?
I know.
because I made one false fucking move when you said Kirsten Stewart. I thought Kirsten does. That's why.
That's all it takes.
That was
So,
all it took, dude.
Another scene between Robert De Niro and Juliette Lewis is when he gets her down in the theater room.
Yes.
I was just about to say that is the creepiest fucking
is.
scene
It
I've
really
ever seen
fucking
Robert
is.
De Niro do.
Yeah.
You beat me to the punch because that was literally
That's the one
like-
that stood out for me, that made me uncomfortable. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to turn it off.
Yeah.
Because this girl is supposed to be all of 16 years
think
old,
so,
and he's
yeah.
sticking his thumb all up in her mouth, and she's sucking on it like, this is not for me.
I will say this.
got a
though,
daughter,
I
you sick
always
fuck,
laugh
like-
when Nick Nolte goes, "Did he touch you? God damn it! Did he touch you? You know, like I
Damn,
always-
that's good.
That was good,
That was
right?
good. That's good Nolte right there. I felt like he was here for a minute.
It's because his voice is healing, so he's able to tap
still
into that.
Do it when it's not like this, but
Say that's not my son.
You got to have that throat cancer to get the good Nick Nolte.
You gotta have that shit resting under chords.
oh, Jesus, Lee, I can't remember that.
That's fucking gold.
So anyway, Robert De Niro is following this. He gets out of jail. Like we didn't talk about the opening scene where he's doing dips. He's covered
yeah.
in these religious tattoos. He has all these.
He gave me a couple ideas for my next ones.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I'm just kidding. Truth. Oh, dude, the scales were dope. Like scales were
Right.
dope. Yeah.
They really were.
He has a Nietzsche, philosopher book. He has all these great, people photographs.
Yeah, it had like Stalin on
Yeah,
his
yeah.
wall. It was interesting because there's this
It's a good
this
line.
channel called The Vile Eye that I watched, and they had every episode's called Analyzing Evil, and they did one. on
Oh,
Max
I watched that too.
Oh, did you? Oh,
Yeah.
nice. And I watched the one on Max Cady.
Right.
And it was talking about how he goes from quoting Nietzsche to the Bible, and all of these ideas conflict with each other. and he talks about being, you know, a Christian or a good Christian or whatever. And I guess they said that it's kind of implied that he came from an evangelistic like background.
Well, the way he talks too.
Yeah, it was like granddaddy.
It's real Southern Baptist
in church. You know,
Fun fact: he actually scared Martin Scorsese with that accent. Like Martin Scorsese was uncomfortable.
It's a great line when he's going out of the prison. He's like, "What about your books? Already read them." I was like, "Oof," because that's when that for me. That's when I was like, "All right, De Niro is truly a fucking talent," because like he makes you believe like he grew up in fucking Georgia his whole life.
God,
like,
yeah, like that's what I mean. Like I think that's like the brilliance of that performance. Like. I was reading up on stuff too, and this is stuff I didn't even know. And I've grown up with this movie, but I was like, wow,
You know how he got the accent?
He said he recorded other people's voices.
Yeah, he would take his scripts to people that had a strong accent and record them saying those lines.
And he did. Oh my God.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like
truly craftsman.
He really was.
This is why he was the GOAT.
Yeah.
He's
really
still alive.
was.
I don't know what you're talking about. Like he's not
His
around.
acting career is dead.
No. I mean, it's taken some hits. I will say that, but I thought The Irishman was good.
Yeah, but
The Irishman was good, but it's but to be fair, I feel like Joe Pesci and Pacino kind of stole that movie in a way because, like, you know,
I didn't think it was fair because they tried to make De Niro have to do action in that movie.
When he was kicking that guy.
He's the only one that had to actually fucking like Pesci got to come in with blood on him.
Yeah.
My boy De Niro had to stomp a dude out in the street.
Yeah, but
like,
Joe Pesci hasn't acted in like 30 years, so
it's not even that. They're the same fucking age. Like they're both 80, 90 years fucking old. Like they don't, they told, I saw a thing with Scorsese. He was talking about like, hey, you need to talk to Al. He sits down too fucking slow. Like, old man. He needs to act like he's like 20 years younger than that. Yeah. And he's like, who the fuck wants to tell him? Like, hey, dude, you're looking too old.
Yeah.
We put this de-aging shit on you and you still look too old.
Right, but after like, besides The Irishman, like what else has Robert De Niro done in recent years that's memorable?
Well, I mean, that's only came out, what? Irishman was what, 19, 20?
I'm just saying. Like, he hasn't done something in a while.
I mean, he is like in his 80s. I mean, he has a right to slow down. Like, he's done like 200 fucking movies, bro. Like, he's good. Like, if he does something else, that would be awesome.
I gotta be honest though, Greg made a really good point though. Like when he said like, what has he done since The Irishman? And I sat there and I really thought about it. I'm like, ooh.
Well, even before The Irishman, like there was a hot minute since he did something really well.
He did that one with Zac Efron.
String of like, I remember he did that
movie.
That one movie. It was supposed to be like a horror movie. I think it had Greg Kinnear in it too. And I hated it. Like, I absolutely hated it. I was just like, why? Like, it was during that time when they were doing those PG-13 horror films.
Right.
And it was, it's like, hey, let's.
Have you seen the one with
Year
him
of
and Travolta?
Godsend. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah.
That's when you knew. It was like, oh, get ready, guys. De Niro's career is about to take a nosedive.
I love The Family.
I didn't like that one that much.
I love that
I still
movie.
haven't watched that. I know Luke Besson directed it.
You're not missing much.
But-
Did they say Tommy Lee
Besson.
Jones is in it, though?
Is he in it?
Who?
Tommy Lee Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's his handler.
Right.
That's the only thing
I love that
kind of
movie.
makes me want to see. And it's funny the double standards that we live because we talk about certain actors not really stepping it up, and it's like, I love Tommy Lee Jones playing Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah,
He's just so good at it, man.
He's great at playing a fucking somebody in the law.
Yeah.
Like whether it's a marshal,
yeah.
a fucking FBI,
he's got that
CIA,
like
whoever.
Sam Elliott
Men in
quality
Black.
to him.
Fuck, it doesn't matter.
Oh, what is it? No Country for Old Men.
Yes.
Right.
That's his best.
Oh.
Oh, he's good in that. He's real good in that.
I think my favorite
I love him in The Fugitive.
Tommy Lee Jones role would probably be Sam Gerard in The Fugitive.
Yeah.
The U.S.
That's
Marshal. He's so great.
I didn't kill my wife.
I don't care.
Right off into the waterfall, babe.
I love the scene where they do a bust and this girl just keeps screaming and he walks up and he goes, "Shut up."
So Robert De Niro is, when he gets out of jail, he's like stalking this family.
Yeah.
And you don't really know why.
Yeah.
The first scene, it shows up him in the movie theater smoking a cigar right in front of the TV.
It's one of the
family.
most funniest, obnoxious. I know that scene is meant to like try to make you uncomfortable. I was laughing the entire time. I was like, that is so ridiculous that he's going to go that far to be uncomfortable. He's like lighting up a cigar. There's fucking smoke, like all like creeping back on the family and shit. And like, he's just
at
like,
the top of his lungs.
and he's laughing about scenes that are not even funny
Right,
yet.
right,
The
right.
punchline hasn't even happened yet. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so fucking hilarious because he's just going out of his way to be obnoxious. And he's just looking around and he's still laughing.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a, that's like one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah, it makes you feel like Nick Nolte just really was playing a softie in that one.
You know, he kind of had like that Straw Dogs vibe, you know, like when you think about Dustin Hoffman and he played like a pacifist, and then like when things start getting extreme, then he has to start getting more violent and has this more sense of urgency. I feel like that's kind of what Nick Nolte did in that movie. He was like this kind of pacifist, you know, and then like as time goes on, he starts getting a little bit more Nick Nolte. Like, but the great thing is though,
how terrible were those guys they hired to beat the shit out of him?
they were horrible.
I'd have told old boy I want
And
my
one of them was
$1,000
Arnold's
back.
stunt guy.
Like I want my $1,000 back.
No, that
because
just shows how tough he was.
That
How
was
much of a
what's
badass.
So great about it.
Yeah.
That
those are some
is
3 out of shape
my-
motherfuckers they got to attack him. They had fucking steel pipes.
chains.
And
Chains.
one had a bike chain. The first one split his chest open,
Yeah.
bro. How does the next one not go to his temple? And he's like not unconscious on the ground.
Yeah, like that is my favorite scene.
Yeah.
It's just because like
He puts his little hat
I
back
still
on.
quote it to this day, like when he goes, "I ain't no white trash piece of shit. I'm better than you all." And he's like, and then like,
Fucking kicks him.
yeah, and then he goes, I'll outthink you, I'll outlive you, and I'll outphilosophize you.
You're killing it with the impressions of today, bro.
Right.
That was spot on too.
And then when he goes, and then my favorite though is when Nick Nolte tries to escape and he hears and he goes, "Counselor, could you be there? Could you be there?" Oh,
Fuck it.
yeah, I love that line.
It don't
What's
matter.
the fucking difference anyway? Fuck it.
Beep, 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 beep. Drops the fucking thing. Yeah, dude.
So the whole reason he is stalking this family is because,
Nick Nolte was his public
Yep.
defender.
right.
It was before he was big time lawyer.
But he buried some evidence on the girl because Robert De Niro's character raped and
Yeah, he raped. He was
Beat her.
bragging about another girl that he raped before
Yeah.
the girl that actually got raped, and
right.
actually, like, and yeah, he buried the evidence. And to Robert De Niro, or I should say Max Cady, is a mortal sin because
Yeah.
you're supposed to be his lawyer, so you're supposed to defend him to the bitter end. And
Right.
Nick Nolte didn't do that because he grew a conscience.
And he had a daughter.
Yeah,
He was like, fuck
exactly.
that. Like,
And I always love that scene, like, not to jump, but it's relevant to what we're talking about when he was like, just because she was promiscuous didn't give you the right to rape her. You know,
Yeah,
like,
and that's what I was thinking throughout this whole movie. Once I found out what this all was about, I was like, okay, so she was promiscuous. What does that mean? That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean you get to do these things. But the thing is, he would have had less years.
well, that's what he
Yeah.
said. And Nick Nolte said right before they started attacking each other was, he said, you had got off on 2 before this. He goes, I wasn't going to let it happen again. And
Yeah.
So he got 14 years.
Yep.
You know? He goes, you're lucky I did that. He goes, if I hadn't made you plead out, you would have got life, which is what he's like, you're a fucking menace. You should have been.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
what sets De Niro off. And then that's when he lights up the cigar and she lights his ass up. But
Oh, it's so great. It's so great. Like, I love, oh man. It's just always going to be one of my favorite villains because, like, he's so good at just being slimy and scummy.
he
Right.
just does. I was
Whole
just about to
movie.
say, he looks oily as fuck.
He does.
In this movie, bro.
And also, I wanted
Like
to
you
bring
could just
this up
strike
to
a
you
match
guys,
off
too.
of him.
I was thinking, He totally could have been Wolverine if they made X-Men then.
Fucking A, dude.
Like,
Yeah.
all
I
day
could
long.
definitely see that.
When you watch
It's
that
fucking Snake
opening
Plissken,
scene,
bro.
it's like, dude.
I don't
that's
know about
Logan
Wolverine.
all
No,
day
I don't
long.
know.
The hair,
Definitely
the
Eastern
cigar,
Promises, bro.
Everything. He even has that like gruff look.
Yeah.
You know, like I just give him the chops. Wolverine.
I don't think so.
It's crazy to see this and then think back on movies like The Fan. Like I mentioned to you about The
fucking
Fan the
love
other
The
day.
Fan.
I know.
I do too. That's one of my
And,
favorite Tony Scott films.
He digs in his bag crazy for that, but it's
Yeah,
like
he
a
does.
whole new take on it because
It's cool because it's like it's one of those things where it's De Niro, but he does pull a little deeper.
He does do a good job at doing like the 9 layers of hell, like different
Yes.
versions of crazy.
Yeah.
Because you think about Taxi Driver, it was a different crazy from Cape Fear, which is
Yeah.
a different crazy from The Fan. Like,
Yeah.
that he's not going to the same place every
He
time,
really
which is
He
brilliant.
it's weird that you said 9 layers of hell because he read a book called The 9 Circles of Hell
Oh yeah.
in Cape Fear, and
Really?
that's what he was telling Nick Nolte in the boat. That
You're
like,
in
I'm
the
here
ninth.
to lead you through the 9 circles of hell. Like I.
Oh,
went
this is
through.
definitely the 9th for Robert De Niro for sure.
I was trying to think of it, man.
for
Like
sure. About his career. Yeah, he's going through the 9 circles of hell right now for sure.
I was trying to think if there's a movie that I'd seen that he played a more unhinged character, and Taxi Driver is probably a close second. I would think
Taxi Driver,
Fan
Cape
third,
Fear, and the
but
Fan.
this has got to be number 1 for
Yeah.
me, man.
Yeah, because I can't really think of.
And that's saying something because he's played murderers and shit and gangsters and everything else. But to say that these 3 roles, just set apart
I
that
would
much.
put them as defining roles for me. Like in De Niro's like list, if
For
you,
sure,
If
yeah.
you were to ask me like, what's your top 5 favorite De Niro roles, those 3 would definitely be in there.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
Like and like but yeah, like and that was the thing. Like when he's in the boat, like I love when he comes back after he gets fucking set on fire. Well, before he gets set on fire, though, what's fucking hilarious is when. Yeah, Juliette Lewis throws that pan of hot water on him.
You don't even
and
fucking
he
phased by
goes,
it.
"You
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to offer me something hot?"
And then he lights the flare, and it's
Melting.
It's
It's
melting
coming down
on
on
his
his-
hand.
Yeah.
And it's just showing how his pain tolerance is so high.
Yeah, he's like, "Granddaddy used to put strychnine in," or something about.
No, his
strychnine.
grandmother used to drink strychnine.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Built up a natural immunity to it.
Felt like all of our grandmothers did.
yeah, probably. Yeah,
People
'cause
were
in
just
Analyzing
tougher back
Evil,
then.
They said that there is like a nugget of truth in that
Mm-hmm.
about strychnine, about people from that period. Like they all have
My-
a little strychnine in them.
It may not be strychnine, but goddamn if it's not close in my mind.
Yeah.
My grandmother used to get beer, leave it out so it would get warm before
Yeah.
she would drink it.
Oh,
Because they came up in the Depression, bro. Where
But
they
that's
didn't
how
have
she
fridges.
liked it.
Yeah.
She likes her beer
She
warm.
came from the struggle, bro.
Right. Fuck, those old people go hard
They
as
don't,
fuck.
I'd say this
I
all
mean,
the
I
time, bro.
like
They
my
don't make
soda room temperature, but fuck.
they don't make motherfuckers like that
They
no more.
don't.
When I do drink soda, of course, but
One thing that we're talking a lot on Robert De Niro, but this is a Martin Scorsese movie, and
Yeah.
it is well outside of his wheelhouse.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
wanted to touch on
Some
that.
Hugo shit.
This is what?
Some
I love Hugo,
Yeah, but that's outside the wheelhouse like a motherfucker.
I guess. But this one's more so. This one's
Like
campy.
silence. Like,
Yeah.
like it's just no fuck Shutter Island. Makes no fucking sense why you did this movie, bro.
Well, that's the good thing about Martin Scorsese. He's always trying to challenge himself, but I feel like this is definitely like
I think
not
this was a hit
I
on more
feel
than some of
like-
those other titles I just gave.
I feel
but-
like Scorsese is the John Carpenter of like gangster and crime drama films because, like John Carpenter, when he did Starman, you're like, wow, this doesn't even feel like a John Carpenter movie when you watch it. Like, and it's like, and you still are kind of like surprised to this day because like Jeff Bridges is the star and it's like, that doesn't even seem like somebody John Carpenter would cast in his
Right.
movies, and that's how I feel about Martin Scorsese. I think you could parallel John Carpenter and Martin Scorsese to a certain extent.
you're the
because-
only one doing that.
Probably. But, well, no. There's actually, except The only difference is John Carpenter only got out of his comfort zone like once.
Well, I felt like John Carpenter is a very like niche director. Like
Yeah.
only hardcore people that are into film like John Carpenter.
Yeah, it's always
loved
usually
Ghost of
horror,
Mars.
sci-fi, and action. You know, well, some action. It's mostly horror, but I mean, but that's what it kind of reminded me of, because when you watch Cape Fear, you're like, there's no way this is a Scorsese film.
Right. I didn't even realize it was a Scorsese film. Like,
Yeah, and I think that's another reason why it made it like my favorite, because I was like, wow, this is.
but you love the campy horror, like, and that's what this really is. Like, whenever he bit that girl, not prostitute, it was just the girl that was
the girl
into
that had a
Nick
thing.
Nolte.
Yeah.
He
for
bit her
Sam.
face. My wife threw up her hands and she's like, I don't know what I'm watching anymore. This makes no sense. And it's
Well,
just that level of campiness.
See, to me though,
Crazy.
I know this might come as a shock. I did not get that feeling from it at all. I was like, whoa, he just bit a chunk out of this.
I couldn't.
face.
When he did that to her, I'm like, there's no way he's leaving her alive.
Yeah,
I swear, I was just like, wow.
That's what I thought. And
Like-
then I also
Yeah,
thought like, and the other thing is, this is something that I think is important. Robert De Niro got that from all these Predator cases that he was reading. And he said one of the attackers bit his victims. And that's why he included it in there. So it's like, it adds a level of like unpredictability to his animalistic instincts. And it's like, holy shit. Like, it's already bad enough he's beating the shit out of her and he's going to rape her and he's going to fucking bite a chunk out of her face. That's terrifying,
Right.
you know?
Well, there's just a lot of like the way he uses the camera. It's very like there's Alfred Hitchcockian
Oh, yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
camera shots in here, and
Absolutely.
it just felt very campy, which is not a bad thing at all.
Yeah.
It's not a knock on the movie. It's a style, and
Yeah.
he nails it. Honestly,
He really does. Like,
he's like, oh, I'm
because-
gonna try this new thing. Oh, and I'm gonna kill it all as well.
Yeah.
It's just a testament to him.
He did such an amazing job. Like, and the other thing is too, that it did feel Hitchcockian, because like even the characters, they're this kind of normal run of the mill kind of like outside of Max Cady, you know, kind of like all American like kind of characters, but just normal conservative.
That's why I thought Juliette Lewis was so good in this, because she did like for that time period.
and that's what I mean.
They
Like,
like
when
the
you
average
watch,
teenage girl.
when you
Agreed.
But
watch
she killed
Hitchcock
that.
films,
Stupid.
When you watch Hitchcock films,
Choke her with a cordless phone type thing.
yeah.
That's
When
what
you-
my wife said. She's like, "Why is this girl so fucking stupid?" I was like, "Girls
You can't
around
tell
this age
guy
kind
is
of
so
are."
fucking creepy.
Yeah. Yeah, and
I got
and-
so
and the-
uncomfortable watching that scene. Like, even my wife, I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And when I was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I just want the scene to end."
Yeah.
Like, I just like you said, I almost wanted to turn it off, but I knew it wasn't. You know,
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like, all right, we get it.
It's also kind of like Hitchcockian, because the characters are almost like characters from a Hitchcock film.
Yeah. Just average people.
Yeah, average people, exactly. That was the word I was looking for.
Average?
Like, yeah,
That's a hard word to search for.
Yeah, I know, right? It's supposed to be the obvious one, and I couldn't
Yeah.
think of it. But like, anyway, so yeah, I mean, and like that's I think that's another big part of its charm. And the other thing that I love is the little homage to the 62 version of Cape Fear by bringing Robert Mitchum and Gregory Peck
Right.
and having them work on opposite sides of the law too, which I also thought was a really subtle touch, because Gregory Peck played Sam Bowden in the original and Robert Mitchum played Max Cady in the original, and they flip-flopped. And I guess apparently Robert Mitchum and Gregory Peck didn't get along on set. Like, they did not like each other when they were doing the movie. And so they made sure that they had no scenes together. And
Right.
like, what I thought was cool is they're making Robert Mitchum a cop and they're making Gregory Peck a lawyer representing Max Cady. It's like, I want to like pat Scorsese on the back for like, that is fucking brilliant,
Yeah.
man. Like, what a great way to pay homage to the two original leads of the movie, but have them on the opposite sides of the spectrum. I think that's like some of the best cameo work I've ever seen.
Agreed.
Another interesting thing that I had to bring up was, you know, we all stole from Columbia House at one point in time in our life, like where you would see those ads for the VHSs that were like
No,
5 cents.
I don't call it stealing. I call it them never asking for their money. So I never gave it to them.
Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So,
but yeah, we
Columbia
all ordered
House,
for those
the
Columbia
people
House.
that did not ask for their money, for clarification. Like when I got my, the irony about that was I didn't pick this. My mom did. But when we picked all the 8 movies that we picked, 2 of them were Gregory Peck.
Mm-hmm.
One was the Cape Fear remake, and the other one was To Kill a Mockingbird.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, everybody talks about that's like a classic for Gregory Peck. I think that was like one of Robert Duvall's like first movies. But I'm like, wow, that's interesting. Like, that's kind of cool to be able to say that my first set of movies ever that I get both have Gregory Peck in them.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, so I just thought that was an interesting anecdote, but like,
Yeah.
but yeah, like, I also loved, Jodan Baker as Kursick in the movie. 'Cause
Yeah, he was good.
he's such a like practicality kind of guy.
Right.
And he does it really well. He was like, you know, he's trying to teach him how to shoot a gun and stuff like that. And he was like, just, you know, when you get the trigger, you just squeeze. That's all you got to do. He's like, don't hesitate, just squeeze. But it's just so funny because, like, you see how frantic Nick Nolte's character is. He's like, so what, do I hold the gun like this? Like, what? And he does it so well. And that's what I love because, like, he's so good at
best bit.
playing like this. Oh shit, you know, like this guy is got me all shaken up and he's going to everybody he can to try to like neutralize the problem. And it's just it's probably one of my favorite Nick Nolte roles too, because he's really good at like doing the descent into madness or just going into this complete frantic territory. He's like,
Yeah, because at the beginning of the movie, you feel like he has his shit together. He feels like he has one up on this guy.
Oh, yeah.
But then he slowly realizes.
I was just about to
like,
say they play big on the stereotypes of like just because you're an ex-con, you're a fucking idiot.
yeah, exactly.
Like, oh, he's just a dumb criminal. He's gonna get slip up. Like, yeah, like that might be what statistics say, but you know,
Yeah, he surprises the shit out of
that man used his
Nick
14
Nolte.
years to go fucking all the way in.
He
like-
read law books.
So I said
That's
he's
terrifying.
like he almost became a lawyer his damn self.
Yeah, yeah. He read law books and he understood them,
Yeah.
which is even more terrifying. Like it's like if you want to find a way to arm yourself to like the fullest extent, that's a way to do it. And like
I was just about to say, whoever wrote Law Abiding Citizen, you could definitely tell they have a love for this movie because it's
oh my god, I never thought about that.
it's
Yeah,
almost the
that's
same
true.
movie, but like you root for Robert De Niro's character in that one
Yeah,
because we can all see a father.
Gerard
whose
Butler is actually kind
wife
of like
and-
if Max Cady was kind of a good guy,
Exactly.
that's kind of what Gerard Butler
Well,
was.
I think that's what the movie was trying to do. And they just didn't have a strong evidence. Like,
Well, even that they were proving that it wasn't really. He started off with good intention. Like when he killed the 2 guys that murdered his family, we were all supportive of him.
yeah.
But then when he started off in the judge and the lawyers and the fucking lead detective on this, and then he decides he's gonna blow up fucking Congress, you know,
Yeah.
the
it's
Senate.
like you're losing your.
You know what I'm
shit.
saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you lost your scope of what you were trying to fight for. You know,
Right,
like,
you're like, okay,
you
you're-
avenged your family. Now
getting a
go do
little
your
extreme.
fucking time. But like he just kept going with it.
Well, I
And-
felt like Cape Fear wanted to do that, but they had 2 extremes. They had like you raped and beat this girl, which is like there's no redeeming quality to
Exactly.
that.
Yeah.
But and then also the girl was promiscuous, which is a really weak argument. So if you could like level those out a bit and make them a little more, you know, go against each other, I think it would have worked out better. But I don't think that's what this movie was trying to do. It was just
No.
trying to paint him as completely
not
crazy.
at all. I think they wanted you to hate Max Cady.
Yeah.
They wanted you to hate him,
And you
they
should.
wanted you to be terrified. Oh yeah, yeah,
should.
I'd be terrified of him. Like,
the fact that there's people out there that are exactly like that guy.
yeah,
Like that's what keeps me up at night, and that's why De Niro did such a good job because it's believable.
yes. And I
I
call them articulate monsters, which is a future Burial song, by the way. But but like that's what he is. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's a perfect like apt name for him. He's an
That is,
articulate
those are the
monster.
scariest ones, are just really intelligent monsters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we deal with every day with
Yeah.
the corrupt politicians and
That's why they're
God, yeah, don't even get me started. Yeah.
oh, I will not. Let's bury that real quick.
Yeah, because I can go all day. But anyway, like,
What were you gonna say, Nick?
Well, I know how much you hate Topher Grace and Predators, but that line he has before he tries to kill the Colombian chick is he's like, you know, I go around people every day and they don't know that I'm the biggest monster there is or whatever he says, but like it's the truth.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's the ones you don't always see.
it's hiding in plain sight.
Right.
You know, and that's actually, I think that's kind of like the thing that was kind of cool about Predators, not to go off, but like, you know, it's like, what the fuck is this guy doing here? And then you find out, like, oh, he's basically a serial killer.
Yeah.
You know, and like, that's.
I just wish it would have been somebody else besides Topher Grace. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you made that known.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I still love that movie just because I love the whole premise of it. Like that's where you want the Predator series to go for me.
Yeah.
I did not enjoy the 2018 one. I've been on record saying this multiple times, and I like Shane Black.
Yeah.
I fuck with Shane Black a lot, but
Me too.
he fucked that one up.
I didn't watch it.
I'm on the
You're lucky.
minority on that one too.
You like it?
enjoyed it. It was just a fun movie. I don't know. Like it's like I said before, because I know we've talked about this on the podcast before. I have a very different level of expectations for Predator movies. It's just like, I think it was all because of Predator 2. And I just go in there, I'm like, I just want a good Predator movie.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want anything that's preachy. Just simple.
I think people forget what Predator is. It's just a fucking, it's
Yeah.
a tough guy horror sci-fi.
Yeah, I'd say more sci-fi. Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's
It's a little bit of
definitely
all
horror
those things.
aspects to.
Well,
that
that's what made it
character.
so great. It's a little bit of everything
Yeah.
in there.
Exactly. And I mean, I think that's why I like 2 so much. That's why I like Predators so much, because it was just like, I felt like you could almost go anywhere with that character, and it could be a good ride. You know.
Well, I enjoyed the first Alien vs. Predator. Requiem kind of
Yeah, it's just
got
first
off
one
the
was kinda
rails a
fun.
little bit, but the
Makes
first
me-
one was different, and that's why I think I enjoy Predators so much, is because it was.
I
just
agree with you on
different.
Predators.
It was different.
AVP.
It was fun. Admit it.
The first one, come on now, she was a fucking
I
gangster.
want to agree. Okay, I do. I just can't.
They killed like how many of those things
I'll
together?
never forget, like, when I remember my mom's boyfriend calls me and he's like, hey, listen, we're going to go see AVP. And I'm like, what the fuck is AVP? And he was like, Aliens versus Predator. Now, granted, I had no idea that this was out. I didn't even know. There was no advertisements,
Which is surprising, yeah.
nothing. I was like, and I thought to him, I was like, you're a fucking liar. That's a comic book. We're going to go watch a comic book? And, you know, he's like, no, they made it into a live action movie. I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, you're not lying to me. He's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm on my way. You know, so I'm like, I was so
Everyone's excited. Yeah.
I was so excited because I had no idea, no clue. I go in there and
you
I see
had
it,
so much fun.
and like, I wish that was the moral of the story, Greg, but it wasn't.
I wish I
Like,
could have seen your grumpy face. You always get grumpy Mick whenever you don't like something.
Yeah, it's like
This isn't even.
I was
This isn't
literally.
even
This is
canon.
bullshit.
This isn't even.
That wouldn't
canon.
happen. Predator wouldn't do that.
And of course, the only thing I got excited about was Lance Henriksen. I was like, that's a nice touch.
Yeah.
Charles Wayland Bishop. That's a nice touch. Like, that was cool.
Got
but
3
like, other
days.
than that, I hated it. I
You know
got
what
almost-
also is a nice touch is at the end of this movie, Cape Fear. Is at the end of the movie, whenever they finally, shackle him to the boat, and then the boat is sinking.
Yeah.
And he's singing
those
the hymns.
Yeah.
But the thing is like he gets pulled under, and the wife was like, that was it, because then the credits roll. And the wife was like, so did he die? I'm like, well, you saw him die. She's like, we did not see him die. We saw him go underwater. And so apparently online, there's like this vague thing of he didn't really die because you didn't see him die.
Yeah.
So everyone thinks like Max Case.
It's
he
one of
lives.
those open for interpretation kind of things.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I could see that. Like, I never thought about. I don't know why. I never thought about.
He's like speaking
deep.
in tongues and
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, he is.
Yeah.
It even says speaking in tongues on the
I don't watch
captions.
subtitles.
I watch
Yeah.
fucking subtitles.
I
It
do
listens
too.
in another language
I do
that I
too.
don't speak. God, my fucking sister
It's
does that
true,
shit.
though, because like in that whole scene though, I always laugh when they're beating each other with the rocks. Like,
Oh right, I busted out
I
laughing
did
when he
too.
threw that
There'd
rock.
be some
Dude,
teeth
like,
missing.
You already sacrificed me, counselor. Like,
Killing it.
dude, and then when like Nick Nolte, he's like, he picks up that big
Big
rock.
one,
he's
it misses him.
like,
But that's what I'm talking about. It's campy, like it's
it is
fun.
a little
like,
campy. I mean, and it's cool because you get to see Nick Nolte go, him and De Niro go
Yeah,
full
yeah.
ham. And it's so good.
why isn't this movie
Full
talked
method.
about more?
I don't know. Like
Like
I don't,
it is
I,
a Martin Scorsese movie.
Because
It is
people-
Robert De Niro, and it is fucking Nick Nolte. Like
I'll tell you exactly why, Greg.
Why?
It's the same reason why people don't even know Taxi Driver is a great movie and The Fan and all that. Nobody wants to remember their legends like this. Nobody wants to remember their roles. Like, while they appreciate them, may even love them, they're not going to go back into them all the time and be like, oh, yeah, let's just go watch De Niro play the worst possible human being for 2 hours.
Taxi Driver is still one of my favorite movies of all time.
I know,
Yeah.
but like, be honest with me, though. When's the last time you watched it?
I watched it when I seen Joker.
so like 3 years ago.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you
I
just-
do go back and watch it every other year. I love that movie.
No, I know, but I have those movies too. That's like 7.
no.
I watch 7 like once a year
Yeah. Do
because
you really?
it's a disturbing fucking movie.
It's so
Like,
good. And I was
it
talking
is.
to
It's
talking to
amazing.
Nick about that. I was like, 7 is one of those movies, like, even though it's a twist ending, it still holds up. Like, you can still go back and
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah, and it's not even that the movie. It's not like one of those movies where it's bad or anything. It's one of those few movies. It's like, God damn, this movie is dark, and I mean dark.
Yeah.
like you know,
can't
like,
see shit.
Yeah. Like, well, yeah. You
What's
know,
in the
like
box?
The box.
like what was it? Yeah, theatrically it's dark too, but
Yeah.
like I mean,
Yeah, dark
subject
content,
matter,
yeah.
like the content. It's
Yeah.
like that. I it's just like every time I watch it and I see that scene with the lust one.
Yeah.
And you know what's crazy though? Gluttony is the one that still bothers me the most.
I was about to say that gluttony bothers me the most because I think some of us just
Somebody do
feel
that
that
to us?
character.
Yeah.
Like, if we just let ourselves go, we would become gluttonous.
And
Like that.
also it's like it
Can't
ruined
feed you.
fat noodle
Feed
spaghetti
you.
for me. I'll never eat like it's angel hair because like I was I think about that scene when he's keeled over
Yeah.
and the spaghetti and I'm like, oh God, those noodles are overcooked too. This is fucking even worse. It's already bad enough that it's a big like 300, 400 pound guy.
No, he's like
like
500, 600.
pounds. Yeah, somewhere.
I was about
around
to say
there.
I'm 3 and I'm not
Yeah,
that big.
and like oh yeah, okay, like 500-600 pounds
Yeah.
and like bugs all over the place. Oh God, like it's just everything about that.
Yeah.
All of the sins, like all of them are very graphic.
Very disturbing, and they don't show you them. That's what's the craziest thing. You don't have to see them, and it's just as effective. I would not want to see a movie where it's like, "Hey, we're going to show you it happen."
This
No,
movie
thank you.
fucked me up when I first saw it because I mean I was on the younger side.
No.
That's probably one of the first.
I was too.
I mean, I don't even know. Would you call it a horror movie?
Yeah,
Or
it's
is it-
horror.
It's
okay.
a horror
yeah,
thriller.
They
It's a
try
horror
to say
thriller,
that
all
it's
right.
not. It is.
No, it's got the tone.
It scared the
for
fuck
it.
out of me,
I was about to
so-
say, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one of those movies where it's just like, fuck, dude. Like,
I mean, it was in. It had a spread in Fangoria magazine. It's a fucking horror film.
Yeah.
You know, like that. If you're in Fangoria, sorry.
Morgan
you know,
Freeman is just fucking
He is really great. there.
fantastic in that
Oh
movie.
God, like Kevin Spacey.
Everyone's
yeah,
on their game.
everybody's so good in that movie.
I wanted
like,
to be like you.
but like, yeah, I mean, but yeah, I mean, I think that I definitely think that 7. I think Cape Fear even influenced stuff like that later on down the road. But it's like,
Yeah, I feel like Cape Fear has some influences on some movies that, you wouldn't think about.
oh yeah,
The Law Abiding Citizen, like that just hit me today.
Yeah, I didn't
was
even think
actually
about that.
Good. That's a really good comparison, though, because I never thought about it.
Because I was like, whoever wrote that movie fucking loved this movie.
Yeah.
Because
V for Vendetta?
They took a good chunk of it.
Yeah. Yeah, like, I mean, that's the thing, though. Like, Cape Fear, I mean, I would even go far enough, like, I've even thought about it, like, of ordering the theatrical poster because I want to put it in my podcast room because it's such a great movie.
It's an iconic poster too.
It's one of the best.
That's what the DVD cover is.
Cover art. Yep. It's one of the best cover arts I've ever seen. And
yeah, I have to agree with that.
Menacing De Niro's fucking eyes are in that scene.
Looks like the big bad wolf.
Yeah.
You know?
Such a, oh God, it's always going to be. I'm so glad they swapped. I'm so glad that, like,
yeah, we didn't touch on that. So
Yeah.
we said it before we hit record on the podcast. But actually, Steven Spielberg was supposed to direct this.
Yep.
And Martin Scorsese was supposed to do Schindler's List. But Martin Scorsese was worried about the backlash because of the movies he did previous.
Yep.
So they switched scripts.
it makes sense. I think it was.
I still feel like Scorsese would have killed Schindler's List, though.
It would have been so good.
Yeah.
It would have, but I'm glad.
But I
it
don't
didn't
think
happen
Spielberg would
because-
have been good at this.
No, I don't. It would have.
Like, his movies up until that point, I just don't feel like would have been.
I don't think it would have been good either. It would have been
No.
too polished.
It would have been too polished, and I feel like Steven Spielberg would have added that like sense of wonder to it. Like, and it's like this movie has no business having that in it, and he does that though. Like everything, even as dark as War of the Worlds could be to a certain extent, there's still that like sense of hope
I hate that he
and kind
did
of
that.
wonder in
that
his
movie.
movies. And it's just like, I feel like it would be too Spielbergy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want that. Not for a movie like Cape Fear. Now,
Well,
if
it's
he was
even
able to-
like-
even Jaws, there's moments like that, you know, like it's, and I love Jaws. It's
You know-
probably my favorite Spielberg film.
Yeah. Oh, well, I was going to say Minority Report. Like,
Yeah.
I love that movie, but I
It's one
feel
of the only Tom Cruise movies I still enjoy.
right, but I kind of wish it was done by somebody else. Like
Yeah.
it has those dark elements,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's so like polished
I
and
was gonna say that
popcorn movied up.
there's probably like out of his darker movies, Minority Report is probably up there.
Yeah, I'm not a huge Spielberg fan, but Minority Report is one that I really enjoy.
I mean, that's kind of like how I feel about Terminator Salvation. It's great, but I feel like, man, this movie should have been directed like by like Neil Blomkamp or, you know, or like even David Fincher, because you know, like when you go back and you see those scenes from the first two movies of the future, it's like it's this dark, gritty
Fucking Jurassic
kinda, like,
Park, bro.
look. And I love Jurassic Park, but like, and you think like, damn, but that's what I felt like Salvation should have looked like, you know, when you're watching the movie. Because I always think about those flashback sequences from the first one when Reese is in the resistance base.
Just want to talk about Terminator, don't
I
you?
just
You
wanted
just
to talk
found a
about-
reason
I
to talk about
just
I
wanted
Terminator.
to
really
talk
didn't know
about
why
that
he didn't
one
pick
part.
Terminator.
But yeah,
I see
anyway.
what you're saying though, but like this one, I'm glad it was done by Scorsese.
Oh, I am too.
because I feel like he
I
brought something
100%
special
agree.
to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that, and that is the true essence as to why it is my favorite Scorsese film.
That
like,
makes sense.
you know, like-
I get that. Yeah.
you
It's
know,
the actor
See,
in
I
you,
knew that. Like,
for sure.
it was like, okay, he's not going to understand it through the messages, but
Yeah,
like, if I come in here and I explain it to him, he's gonna be like, okay,
Well, I know your taste in movies, so that makes sense why it's your favorite. But when
Yeah.
you explain it like that, like he really stepped out of his comfort zone and still made a great film.
yeah.
That's really special.
And I'm a Scorsese fan. Like I enjoy Goodfellas.
I mean, he's one of the best directors to ever live. So
easily.
Facts.
Like
Yeah.
I mean, and like I've loved a lot of his movies. I love Casino, of course. God damn it,
Departed.
Yes,
Yeah.
Departed.
Fucking love The
I
Departed.
even like Gangs of New York. I know that movie
Love
gets
Gangs
shit
of
on
New York.
all the time, but I enjoy it.
I still haven't seen that yet.
Really?
Yeah, I keep
Wow.
like I want to sit down and watch it. I really, really do. Like,
It's a good one.
but I'm trying to read these books first. And
What
then,
books?
like, I swear I'm getting into reading a lot, so I'm like forcing
reads?
myself to read more.
I
You
read.
know, like, and I'm like,
That's what Audible's for.
Yeah.
While you're detailing cars, just put on an Audible.
That's a good idea. I didn't think about that.
You get through a whole series. You get through all of Harry Potter by the end of the week.
Yeah.
Word for word.
But yeah, like but yeah, I mean, I love Scorsese. I always have. It's just, but Cape Fear, man, it's always gonna have a special place in my heart.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's just like that theme is iconic.
The music, we didn't talk about the music. The music is really great. It really hits home.
They also said that they took that score. I can't remember the name of the composer for the original movie, but Elmer Bernstein, the composer for Cape Fear, took that old theme and kept it in the new one, which I thought was really cool. But the rest of the movie
was like Hans Zimmer
is its
or
own
some shit.
score. What is it?
Thought it was like Hans Zimmer or some shit.
It's not always Hans Zimmer.
No. Yeah, it's so funny. It's like the stereotype.
Who'd you get?
Didn't Hans Zimmer do the music for this movie?
Right,
He does the
right.
music for everything. It's like, no. It's like, oh, well, I mean, you could say the same thing about Danny Elfman, too.
Yeah.
You know,
Danny
like,
Elfman's
It's got
the guy
Batman.
that-
I was gonna say if Batman.
Yeah, if it's not Hans
got
Zimmer,
Batman
it's
in
Danny
it?
Elfman. Like, oh, yeah. If it's not Hans Zimmer that did it, it's Danny Elfman.
Yeah, there's only two,
John
Only
Williams.
two composers
John
in this
Williams.
whole world. Yeah, like I was telling one of my best friends, Eric, about Cape Fear. I was telling him about it last night. I was like, you got to watch this movie.
Yeah.
And I told him, I was like, I want to show you scenes, but I can't. I just feel like you need to sit down and watch this movie and the progression of it, because it's like
it does a good job at setting up what you're about to like.
Oh my god, bro! Like it bothered me almost because like I want to say that there was wasted frames, but it wasn't. Like, and I know it was on purpose.
oh yeah,
Like the movie makes you so uncomfortable that like by the end of it, you're just like so relieved. Like you're just like, fuck, let this family go.
Right.
yeah.
Fucking kill them or let them go, bro. Like,
The movie
Yeah.
tortures you.
it
but
does, like it did, and like I said, I know it's mostly because I have kids and shit, and you know, as a father and a husband, like you like to think of yourself as a protector, you know.
Yeah.
Like that shit wouldn't have went down like that if it had been me.
I know. I don't have a daughter, but I do have a wife. But whenever he was like zip tied up and like
Just having
just
to watch that
watching
shit,
it, that like
It's terrifying.
I hate that.
It's terrifying. I mean, because it's like it also explores like that vulnerability of a father, like you know, kind of like, fuck, man, I'm supposed to be protecting my family, and look where I'm at right now. Look at the position I'm in, and then it's also like I'm paying for something that I thought was doing the right thing, and it came back and it bit me in the ass like 14 years later. It's crazy, like, and it does kind of shake you, whether you're married or you have kids. It does kind of shake you to that core, because you're like, fuck, man, like I can identify with Nick Nolte a little bit, because you're like, man, if I was in that position, I would feel like such a failure,
right?
You know. And then it's also like, but
And that's
you know,
why
it's
I
not
said
fair that
when I
somebody
think of
sent
Nick
a fucking
Nolte,
demon on me.
I think of
You
like
know?
the ultimate fucking like one of the original badasses in my mind, and to say him play a role like that.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, it does show how good his acting is when at the end he does just break loose.
Yeah.
He's got ready to crack this dude's fucking head like a melon.
That's another thing that I love, because then you start seeing that, like, oh shit, he's kind of dangerous and crazy too.
Yeah.
Not to the extent of Max Cady, but it's like,
But he's
that's
pushed
what he
to that.
drove him to.
he's pushed to
Yeah.
that point. You're like, man, he could fuck somebody up, like if he really wanted to.
Right.
You know, like, and that's what I love about like how he slowly just gets more and more on edge throughout the film.
Yeah.
And, like,
You're always going to get your best shot from somebody that's cornered. You know what I mean? They're going to
Oh,
give you
that's
their
true.
fucking nastiest one
that's true.
because they're scared.
Yeah. They have nothing to lose at that
Exactly.
point.
They know that it's we're at the end here.
Yeah.
You know.
So,
But it's definitely a movie that is good. To give it on the par scale,
I was gonna say, what do you rate it?
I'm gonna go 7.
7.
7.
That's a pretty good scale.
That's his 5.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not. It's not.
It's 5.
It's not. Mandy was a 5.
I feel
dude.
slighted.
Mandy was a 5, dude.
I'm not good with scales. I never
Seven's
have
good.
been.
That's why I give like either recommendations and I try to like
It pisses him off.
give out because you always give it a 7. I told him I'm gonna make a shirt that says I give it a 7.
No, I did.
You
I did like a
should.
7.9 or some
You
shit
should.
the other day, and he
That's
didn't
a
like
great
that
idea.
at all.
kind of bugs me because like now I know when like this episode comes out, I'm gonna be thinking, damn, there's 2 episodes where it's just me on here and we're just talking about shit in general, and then there's 2 episodes where we actually do movies, and I'm like, God. So next year I'm gonna make sure definitely gonna be a movie again. So it's like starts to even out.
Yeah.
Like
Hey, I kept us on track.
You did, man. You did much. You've got this shit down now.
I think so.
I let y'all get off a little bit, but then I snap y'all back to.
He did a great job of bringing us back in, man.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like American Gangster. I thought that was an improvement. I think this is even better than that.
It was really just the first one. The first one was
went off the
chaos.
fucking rails.
First one was.
We're supposed to talk about The Dark Knight, and we didn't talk about Batman at all.
Very little.
It was
few and
far. To
far.
the extent that we said it was kind of like the second episode,
and it was also the length of a Joe Rogan episode. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then not to mention the fact like the second episode was supposed to be Black Mass, and I even said it on the episode. Yeah. We're supposed to. The third episode I was on, I was like, "Yeah, we're supposed to talk about Black Mass." And talking about it for 5 seconds.
I had to turn it into like Nick's interview because I'm like, I don't even know what we're talking about. But yeah, I give this like highly recommended. This is like if you haven't seen it, like don't go in it with Martin Scorsese glasses. Go into it open-minded.
Yeah,
because it is so different.
I mean, honestly,
you'll be sadly disappointed because it's not a normal Scorsese.
It is not Goodfellas.
I'm almost like 100% on this. I think this was my first Scorsese film
really
that I ever saw, because I don't think I saw Goodfellas until a few years after Cape Fear,
right?
And Casino and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm almost like 100%. This was my first introduction to Scorsese.
I was telling Nick how I got introduced to this movie. So I didn't realize I was a Martin Scorsese fan until you pointed it out.
Yeah.
I dated a girl when I was 18, and her brother, he didn't have anything on his walls. He had one single picture, and it was framed, and it was the Casino poster.
Oh, really?
He's like, that's the best movie ever made. So one day I checked it out. I'm like, let me check out this movie. He seems to love it so much. And I was like, man, this was really good. And someone's like, oh, if you like that, you'll like Goodfellas. So I watched Goodfellas. Yeah. And then I watched Taxi Driver. And I was like, oh my God, I love Taxi Driver. And then I came to you and you're like, those are all by the same guy, Martin Scorsese.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I do remember telling you.
I was like,
that.
wait, what? And you're like, you should check out Cape Fear. Yeah. That's another one he did. You would like that. So that's how I found out about
Goodfellas was my first.
Damn, I completely forgot about that. Yeah. Holy shit. That's like 11 years ago.
That's before I like looked into like directors. I just kind of liked movies. I'm like, I like this.
No, I remember that. Like, but I think you were kind of like in the bare beginnings of that because of Nolan.
Yeah.
Like,
Christopher. Darren Aronofsky was like the first like director that I followed. I was like, I love this guy's movies. So
yeah, and then I remember that's when you were like, okay, I want to kind of start following the directors more, so I can kind of keep a track list of everything they do. Well,
for me, it was actors. Like I followed actors. I like watched all their movies. Like Robert De Niro. Like Robert De Niro. That's the reason I was watching all those Martin Scorsese movies because Robert De Niro.
Exactly.
So.
Like. See, it's weird because I was like back then too. I was a massive De Niro fan. He was one of my favorites.
Same.
It's really weird because it's like, let's go back to younger me. My list of favorite actors would be very different. It would have been De Niro. It would have been Kevin Spacey, Keanu Reeves. Believe it or not, like I loved Speed and fucking I still do, and Point Break.
I know you have the Speed 4K, and I was like, that's a random 4K to have.
Yeah, it's so good. I mean, the big 50 gap jump is completely unbelievable, but still with the bus. But other than that, it's a great movie. But like, it was just weird. Like I was a big Charlie Sheen fan. I was a big Kiefer Sutherland fan.
I loved
like
Charlie
those were
Sheen.
All like. And Schwarzenegger, of course.
Yeah,
but those were all like my favorite actors in that time of my life. But then as I got older, I'm like, I really love Nick Nolte. I love Gary Oldman. Like,
yeah.
like
mine was Anthony Hopkins. Like, was one of my first favorite actors. Like I loved everything he was in.
Oh yeah.
And then it went to Robert De Niro and then Christian Bale and then Tom Hardy. So like,
yeah, exactly. Like, well, yeah, we all got infected by the British virus. That's what it was. Because like
DiCaprio, dude.
You know, like it was Gary Oldman. I think I started realizing how big of a fan I was of Gary Oldman.
I didn't realize how much I loved Gary Oldman until I met you. And then I realized all the movies that he did. I was like, he's so good.
I was a fan of Gary Oldman for 20 years before I found out he was fucking British.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's
yeah, exactly. You know, it's funny. During the time we were hanging out is when during that time when I was with my ex is when I found out that Gary Oldman and Christian Bale were British.
I think I remember you saying that because you got an interview and you're like,
dude,
they're British.
Did you know they're British? And you're like, really? I'm like, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you know, it's like, man, their American accents are fucking better than ours.
Yeah, right.
You know, like, and like, but yeah, because I mean, Dracula was one of my favorite movies, like growing up. Like, my sister almost ruined Dracula for me growing up. But
watching it all the time?
Yeah. Dude. It was like, if it wasn't Dracula, it was The Crow. I'm like, come on, dude. Can I watch RoboCop?
Crow.
But yeah, like
that's another Francis Ford Coppola movie. That Dracula, so good.
Bram Stoker's
great fucking movie. But then like it's like I said, and then like True Romance, obviously with Drexel. But you know, as I got older,
I was going to say The Fifth Element.
Yeah, Fifth Element.
That was like
The Professional.
Professional, yes.
Yeah.
The Professional is probably my favorite of his when he cracks that pill.
I have to.
Oh my god.
I have to agree. Like that's if I had to go a top 5 Oldman roles, Stansfield would be in there.
Yeah.
Like
that's how Drexel is for me. I love that. It's only
Drexel's
like 5
so
minutes, but
great.
it's
Like,
fucking gold.
I need Drexel movies.
I do need a Drexel movie.
I wouldn't
man.
mind having a Drexel prequel. I'd be all about
This
it.
motherfucker said he don't eat pussy.
He was like, man, if I ate pussy, I wouldn't tell no goddamn buddy about it. Like,
What about you? So I eat the pussy, I eat the butt, I eat every motherfucking thing. It's fucking great. Sam Jackson, another
dude,
great
and
Sam
when he
Jackson
goes, he was
cameo.
like, nigga, your dumb ass will be doing a lot of dumbass things. You'll be up there sucking niggas' dicks.
See, we should have done True Romance.
I
Missed
know.
opportunity. Maybe next year.
Yeah, maybe next year.
Shotgun blast, boom. Got them
Dude,
both.
but like, yeah, I mean, it's weird. It's like I call it like your favorite actor's maturity list.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have these certain, like, even Christian Slater was one of my favorites when I was younger.
He had a run. He had a nice run.
He really did. Like,
And a lot of people hate him.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, I kind of see why, but like,
I don't hate him. He's not my favorite.
I don't hate him either, but like, I understand why. You know, like, Emilio Estevez was another one. You know, fucking, of course, fucking Maximum Overdrive. AC/DC provided the entire soundtrack for.
That's awesome.
You know, I love the Young Guns movies.
A lot of people love Young
You know who
Guns.
my favorite actor was for the longest time? Val Kilmer. I fucking love
Val Kilmer too. He was in there. And Michael Douglas. I loved Michael Douglas.
I didn't realize I loved Michael Douglas until like our last episode when we were doing the game.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at, I was like, Wall Street, the game.
Oh.
And then I was telling Nick, he did this one episode called The Perfect Murder.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so
With Viggo
good.
Mortensen. Yeah.
It's so good. I didn't realize it was that.
I still haven't seen that.
What the fuck, Mick?
I've seen parts of it, but I have not seen the whole thing.
It's so much better than I thought it was going to be.
Really?
I thought it was going to be like some
Okay.
cheesy 90s movie. Dude, you got to check that out.
Yeah, because I was going to say, there is a lot of those. Like, you remember the 90s.
Because they
era.
all had the same fucking poster.
Yeah,
It was like
they
the
had the
main
same
guy
poster,
with all the on
But
the
they
sides
also
with
had
all the face.
doppelganger movie that, like, they had the doppelganger movie that, like,
Not you, the sound panel. You're like knocking it
oh
off.
shit. they
There you go.
fixed it. But like
The doppelganger movie.
yeah, they had the doppelganger movie. It's like, okay, you had Deep Impact and you had Armageddon
Mm-hmm.
and you had The Core.
Oh, yeah, that was a thing.
You know,
like,
and that was all out through the 90s.
I
it was
love
like Tombstone,
I love
Wyatt Earp.
Armageddon. I do.
What is it?
I love Armageddon.
You just love that song.
I don't want
That Aerosmith song.
fucking who doesn't, bro? Like,
Not me.
I can stay awake. So good, dude. That's probably one of their best songs, honestly. Aerosmith.
Yeah.
No, but Bruce Willis saving the world by drilling a hole in an asteroid.
Talk about actors.
Gold.
That was another one of my favorites too.
I love Bruce Willis.
Yeah.
You know, like
This is the unofficial Ben Affleck and Bruce Willis podcast.
God, I hate Ben Affleck now. He has made me hate Ben Affleck.
really.
Yeah, I didn't have an opinion on him before, but he gave me so many Ben Affleck movies, and I'm like, I think I hate Ben Affleck.
I think you and I are in the exact same spot because, like,
What's that Alone at Night, Forever Night? What's that movie?
Live at Night.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've
It
seen
is
it.
garbage.
Live by night, man. What are you talking about?
See,
There's some good
it's so
shit
weird.
in that
That's
movie.
so weird. Like, I did what I saw of it. I enjoyed, but I did not like Ben Affleck.
The book's good, too.
Like,
I mean, I'm sure the book's good, but that movie's garbage.
but like, but no, I started kind of realizing the same thing. Like before, it's weird. I used to be like a defender of Ben Affleck.
Yeah,
like,
I think I was too at one point.
You know, it's like, dude,
Whenever-
calm down.
There's no need to defend. He's a good actor. Like, he's fucking good.
I'll give
Like,
him
you
that.
don't
Yeah,
have
he's
to
a good
defend
actor,
it.
but
Like,
but it's almost like
He's just done so much trash.
he really has.
I ain't gonna lie. He's had
has.
some swinging and misses.
Let's talk
Like,
about reindeer games.
You love reindeer
It was like one of you
games.
guys' first
Ironically.
episodes.
It's one of your.
Wasn't it?
It's one of your favorite Christmas movies. Now.
Ironically, because it's so bad. Like whenever he yells, there are monsters in the gelatin. I'm like, oh, I know what I'm watching now. This is a comedy.
I love Gary Sinise.
Yeah, he's
You know,
great in
like,
that.
Gary Sinise is
I'm not out here
amazing.
playing reindeer games, Greg.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know. I never thought I'd say this, but I think I'm leaning more towards Matt Damon nowadays.
Yeah.
Fuck that, dude.
You know, like I
Other
never
than Good
thought
Will
I'd say
Hunting,
that
I don't really care about Matt Damon.
because I used to be
Dogma.
like, who gives a fuck about Matt Damon? I
Right,
used
but he's put out some
he
pretty
really
decent
has.
movies.
He really has. Like The Martian.
We
was
Bought a
really
Zoo.
good.
It was okay. I mean, he was great in it, but it's kind of a meh whatever story.
Well,
I just bought it.
That was another
yeah.
doppelganger movie. Interstellar came out that
Oh,
same
right.
year too, and it's like really. And you've got two people that were also in Interstellar.
Yeah.
Come on now, this is not a Marvel movie.
Oh, right, he was in there, wasn't he? I forgot about that.
Like
Yeah.
Matt Damon, and there was one other person I think that was also in Interstellar.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember who it was, but like that was directed by Ridley Scott, and this is what I think. I think Ridley Scott's like, well, that Nolan is really good. I'm gonna make a space movie too. You know?
How do you feel about Christopher Nolan? I know when
This
we
one,
first met,
he's on Mars.
Christopher Nolan was like your favorite director.
Yeah.
Like you loved Christopher Nolan, but now that he's put out a few more movies in the past 10 years, how do you feel about him?
I mean, I think I still love him.
Yeah.
He's still definitely one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, I will say this. It kind of hurts me to say this. And you would think I would be into this because of the timepiece and the time period that it came out, but Dunkirk doesn't hold up the way that I thought it would. Like, I enjoyed it when it came out in the theater, but I was just like, I don't know, man. Like,
I heard it's just an experience movie. I haven't sat down and watched it.
It really is, and and it's like usually Christopher Nolan deals with like deep, like thematic issues, and that's what I
Concepts.
love. Yeah, and concepts and stuff like that. And I was just like, this could have been a lot better, you know. Like, and then the other one,
Tenet?
no, Inception.
Oh, Inception.
Yeah, like
I love Inception.
I loved it when it first came out. And every time I've tried to watch it since, it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. This is boring the shit out of me.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks. Like, I hate saying that. Like,
Yep.
it literally broke my heart to have to say that.
I
It's
still
like,
haven't seen Tenet.
you know,
yet.
I did. It hurt me too because I loved Christopher Nolan. And then I just got to this point. I'm like, I don't think I love Christopher Nolan like I used to.
Yeah.
And when I finally came to terms with that, I felt so much relief.
yeah. It's weird though, because like
It is.
Tenet had an opposite effect on me. I was like, oh, finally. You know, because I actually watched it twice. Like, I was like, sometimes that's the trick with a Nolan movie.
Oh, Tenet, you have to watch
it,
5
like,
times.
Immediately, like right after,
Yeah.
it's lost in the shuffle forever. That's what happened with Inception for me.
You know how Following is kind of like a puzzle movie? Tenet is that on steroids.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Bigger budget.
Yes.
And that was kind of like my thing. I was like, damn, you know, I should have counteracted on Inception a long time ago.
Yeah.
I think I'd feel differently, but it's just like, and it sucks too because like Tom Berenger, he's one of my favorite actors, and him, I remember flipping out seeing the poster in theaters before the movie came out. And I always love how Christopher Nolan would have all the cast like on the top of the poster.
Yeah.
And I remember looking, I was like, who's in this? I'm like, Tom fucking Berenger, Sniper, is in a Christopher Colan movie?
Right.
Whoa, like this is amazing. And it's like, yeah,
That's
he's only
funny
got,
too,
3
because
scenes.
when I think of Tom Berenger, I think of Major League.
Of course. But it's like, wow, that's cool that he cast Tom Berenger. That's not something. Well, I can't say it's not something I expected because Christopher Nolan always has this thing. He always picks 1 or 2 actors as a co-star that was somebody that was really popular in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
It is, I've noticed it. It's a pattern in every movie he's done. Like, even going back to Memento, like that Joe Pantoliano guy, the one that was in The Matrix, and I completely forgot that fucker's been around since The Goonies.
Yeah.
Like,
He's one of the mobsters.
Yep, yeah, and it's like
Pirellis or whatever.
and that was like one of Christopher Nolan's like 80s kind of co-stars in his movies, and then Batman Begins, he had Rutger Hauer. You know, and everybody knows Rutger Hauer from Blade Runner and stuff like that. And then The Prestige, David Bowie. I mean, it's fucking David Bowie.
David Bowie.
You know, and then
there's a
like,
lot for the Dark Knight. I mean, you see Michael Caine,
Eric Roberts.
Morgan Freeman.
Roberts.
Yeah.
You know, Eric Roberts and Anthony Michael Hall. And Anthony Michael Hall, he was like, dude, he was a part of the Brat Pack, you know, with Emilio Estevez. Like, you can't get any more 80s than that. He was like, oh, it's Emilio Estevez's buddy, you know, like, and Molly Ringwald, all that shit. And he's doing it again. Like, this time in his new movie, he's got Tony Goldwyn. I know you don't know his name, but you know who he is. He's that dick from Ghost that got Patrick Swayze killed. And you would know him from Kiss the Girls. Remember
I haven't seen that movie in so long that I can't remember.
Wow.
He was one of the other bad guys in Kiss the Girls.
Okay.
That was in cahoots with Carrie Elways.
Right.
But he's in it, and I'm like, wow. Okay, that makes sense. Like, I see why I cast him. He was, but I wonder, like, I want to know the mind of Christopher Nolan.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
Where it's just kind of like, okay, well, I got Matthew Modine, you know, from Full Metal Jacket. What 80s stock?
I mean,
can I pick?
to be completely fair, if you decided to be a big time director and you started getting all this money, you would start casting 80s.
Fuck yes, I would.
There'd be
There's
nobody
no doubt
else
about
in
it.
the movie.
I'm not even ashamed of that. I wouldn't even try to hide that. Like,
Kurt Russell is number 1.
Yes, Kurt Russell would be in everything I do. Everything. Like, you know, it'd be like, and I would make a new movie with Kurt Russell and Kevin Costner where Kurt Russell gets the better role. You know, like
You'd make 3,000 Miles to Graceland too?
I would remake it.
Please.
I would
Thank you.
remake it.
Yes.
I would remake it, and it would be like, sorry, Kevin Costner, you get the Michael character that Kurt Russell played, and we're going to switch it around because, sorry, pal.
I like the fact that Key got to see Kevin Costner.
But you know what's
do that.
fucked up? I feel like like Kurt Russell would be like, that's really fucked up, you know. But like I think like Kevin Costner was really good in that role in 3,000 Miles of Graceland. But the other thing that I always wanted to talk about is like, I swear to God, that movie felt like it should have been made by Tony Scott, because you said something earlier about movies that should have been directed by somebody else.
Right.
That movie screamed Tony Scott.
Who directed it?
Some fucking guy that did like,
Oh, right. That was like the only thing he did.
Yeah,
I remember
he
looking at his
did
filmography.
Really like nothing. Like
Right,
that
right.
was- I think
Did
he
you
did
say
a
him
TV
and Kurt
movie.
Russell got into it a lot? Or
Probably.
him and Costner, one of them. Or maybe both of them.
I think
did?
Kurt Russell and Kevin Costner got into it.
Well, it's tough because
they had a
they were both.
rivalry.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s because Tombstone and Wyatt Earp were like competing against each other, but we all saw who won that battle.
I just watched Tombstone the other day. I'm like, it's so good. It still holds
great.
up.
It really does. It really does. And that's the thing. Like, but like when I watched that movie, I was like, it's about a bunch of fucking Elvises, like, and even the acting choices are like Tony Scott like style acting choices. Some of the actors were in Tony Scott movies, fucking Kevin Costner and Christian Slater.
Yeah.
But I remember just thinking, I'm like, dude, it's like I love the movie, but I hate it at the same time. But it's like I felt like all he did was he was like, let me watch a bunch of Tony Scott movies.
Yeah,
I feel
that.
Like that.
Yeah. I don't like the movie. I couldn't get on board with it. I just thought it was cool whenever Ice-T was doing his fucking shoot around. I was like,
you want a peanut butter and jelly?
They're playing Spine Shank.
Yeah, I know. I love that. I love that. That's like one of my favorite scenes in the movie. Like,
I love that part at the end where he's all shot the fuck up in the little trailer.
And they're playing Spine Shank.
And they got all the lasers on him, all the scopes.
Yeah.
That was
And he
awesome.
does that fucking cool ass Elvis move. And it kind of starts playing that old Elvis song, and then all of a sudden he just says, fuck it. And then he goes back to the fucking metal. That was
pretty
hard.
Awesome. That was pretty, I mean,
that's hard as fuck.
I think that, like, that movie, like, God, Tony Scott, why did you have to kill yourself? R.I.P. But it's just like, hey, I know it sounds weird for you to remake a movie that came out in the 2000s, but, like, could you like remake this movie with the same cast but just make it better? Like I mean, I like it, I really do, because I feel like the director, that's who he was inspired by. When you watch the movie, it that's what it feels like to me. It's like, how you watch a movie and it's like, well, this guy obviously loves John Carpenter, or this guy obviously loves fucking Martin Scorsese, but it's not a Martin Scorsese film, but you could feel the influence. And that's what one of those movies was.
Yeah, I agree. But if I don't put a pin in this podcast, it will go on forever. So I'm going to go ahead and put a pin in this podcast. But thank you for coming on and talking about Cape Fear with us. It was a pleasure.
We love having you on, Mick.
I love it. I love it. I have fun every time I come on here. Next year, we're going to be unpredictable. I haven't figured it out.
It's going to change a couple of weeks.
I know it will.
Every week you're going to say you want to do something different. So it's whatever you watch at the time.
Stop being a Debbie Downer. I know.
But so last episode we said if we didn't do Cape Fear, we were going to do
Reservoir Dogs.
So we're going to go ahead and do Reservoir Dogs on the next episode. Yeah.
That's awesome. Like that's my favorite Tarantino film.
Is it?
Yep.
Mine's Jackie Brown.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Really?
I don't know why I love Jackie Brown so much.
No, I mean that's you sound like you're kind of coming from my playbook a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I hate telling people that because I don't know. I connect with Jackie Brown because I think it's his best made film.
Yeah,
like he's a great director, but Jackie Brown is such like a linear, well told story.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Jackie Brown is. I will say this. It used to be my least favorite of his, but now it's kind of stepped up a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I do enjoy his other movies, and I think they're great, and they have his voice in it. But Jackie Brown, I feel like he was very much in a director's seat.
Pulp Fiction will always be number one. But
that's just the one that got him started. It's like
I love Reservoir Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's still one of my favorites.
Yeah,
and Inglourious Bastards and Django. I fucking love Django. But
well, it's kind of like Catherine Bigelow for me. Everybody knows her from Point Break or The Hurt Locker. But my favorite film from her is like one of her earlier movies, a movie called Blue Steel.
Oh, I remember we actually talked about that on one of the episodes.
Between that and Near Dark, it's like my two favorite.
Maybe next year we could do Blue Steel.
Ooh, yes. Fuck yeah. Yeah. Yes. I've been waiting to fucking review the fuck out of that movie. Like Jamie Lee Curtis, that time period, that was my dream woman. It still is. Somebody
It's like me with True Lies.
I wish somebody could like clone a version of that
Yeah.
and give that to me. You know, just be like, that's your new wife. Fuck yes. Like, and she's gonna be amazing. Everything's gonna be great. Like,
So March or June around 2023, we'll talk about Blue Steel.
yes. Yes.
But on the next episode, we're going to be doing Reservoir Dogs.
Fuck yeah.
Until then.
Later, y'all.
Later.